Hey guys, look at you. We're on our third lesson for Unit 8. It's composition of area. We're actually continuing from yesterday's lesson. Same objective is that we can apply the two-dimensional shape to find the area of a given diagram. Again, these might be composites, it might be a mixture. You know how it goes on day 2. It's more of you working. So let's take a look at what we did yesterday. We talked about the circle, it's pi r square. The triangle is half base times height. The rectangle is length times width. We also touched bases on if it was half of a circle, which is a semicircle, it would be pi r squared times, divided by 2 because you're taking half of it. We then went on to squares, which is side square, and a trapezoid, which is half the parallel sides, which are A and B in the top, and we times that by our height. Now, one thing that I probably overlooked yesterday that I just want to make sure I mention in today's video before I do the examples are whenever we're finding the area is always measured in units squared. So whatever units you're working with, whether it's centimeters, yards, meter, feet, inches, whatever it is, should always have that little square. Okay, so now let's take an example, look at an example. So I want you to make sure you have this in your notebook. There will be 2 examples, and then you are going to complete the worksheet and turn that in as your grade for today. So in the first example, it says you have a diagram MAT, which is a rectangle. GB is 4.6, MH is 6, and HT is 15. The questions say, what's the area of the polygon MBATH? In other words, I'm asking you, what's the area of the shaded region? So when you look at this, you should be able to see, okay, I have a rectangle, right, which they gave me. And then this shape right here, this big entire shape here, it's a triangle. So that shaded region is like, okay, I have this rectangle and I'm cutting that piece out, the clear piece, that triangle. So if I'm taking something out, what operation should I be doing? Exactly, you should be subtracting. So when I'm going to solve this, I'm going to get the area of the rectangle, and then I'm going to subtract let's write area in the top just so that you have it in your notes. Area of rectangle, subtract area of triangle. So area of rectangle is just straightforward. It is 6 times 15. And then the area of a triangle, notice I'm putting them in parentheses because I need to get the answers first, is half the base. So remember, in a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent. So if this is 15, the entire thing is 15. So half the base is 15, and the height was given as 4.6. What I want you now to do is go ahead, take your calculators, and I want you to do the actual multiplication. So 6 times 15, and then I want you to do what's half times 15 times 4.6. So go ahead, try those first before I put the answers up. 15 times 6 is 90. Half of these guys works out to be 34.5. And then what I want to do is now I want to go ahead and subtract, because remember, it's like me cutting that piece out. I only want the shaded piece. So when I subtract these guys, I get 55.5. No units were given, so we're just going to write the word units. And then its area, make sure you have the square. So the area of that shaded polygon, MBATH, is 55.5 units. So be very careful. That's why it's like a second day of this, because you can see this asking for a shaded piece, unshaded piece, or just like composite shapes. Your worksheet is a mixture of all of these, okay? Now take a minute, make sure you copy everything down. Look at how I broke it down, kind of like what we did yesterday. First of all, what shapes do you see? What am I working with? What formula will I use? Those kind of things. And we're going to take a look at a second example. Now today's very short because it's just continuing from yesterday, but let's see what kind of information I know here. Let's use blue. In the diagram below, you have a circle that's inscribed in a square. This fancy word just means that the circle is inside. The square has an area of 36. What's the area of the circle? Now, I need to know, why is this here? We need to figure something out. So, from yesterday's notes, the area of a square is equal to side square because all the sides are congruent. If I'm telling you I know that this is 36, what's the measure of each? How do you get rid of the square? By taking that thing, square root. Square root of 36 is 6. So based on that, I can see this is 6, this is 6, this is 6, and this is 6. The question is asking for area of a circle. Now, area of circle, right, is pi r square. Now, from here, if I was to draw a line straight through, that's your diameter. This diameter that I drew, it's the same as this side. So if the diameter, and I'm going to come in the bottom, if the diameter is equal to 6, then the radius we learned is half of this, which is 3. So this would be pi 3 square. Now it doesn't say how to round, so let's just make believe that we are going to round to tenths. And you guys know I like to make this up as I go, just as practice. So we know that 3 square is 9. So in the calculator, we're going to do 3 square times pi. And again, make sure you enter the pi symbol, which works out to be 28.27, right? And we're doing tenth, so that your final answer should be 28.3. Again, no units were given, so we do units square. Normally, you're given a units. If it's not given, you always try to just use the words units. And I can add an S here, not a big deal. So 28.3 units square. Alrighty guys, that's it. You know what you got to do? Complete that worksheet and then turn that right back into me on Google Classroom. Have a good day, guys.